In the last section, we started to investigate how we can get a deployment to make sure that all of our pods are using the latest version of an image that is available. So in the last section, we flipped our deployment to use the multi-client again. We're now going to go back to the complex project. That's the multi-container project that we worked on previously. And we're going to update the multi-client image. So inside of my terminal, I'm going to open up a second tab, and then I'll navigate over to the complex project that we had previously put together. Remember that inside of here, we have that client folder. That's where the multi-client project is coming from. So I'm going to change into that directory, and then I'm going to start up my code editor inside of that client folder. All right, so here we go. So I've got my client project right here. Inside of the client project is that SRC folder, and inside there are a couple of different React components. And so to update our multi-client image and get kind of a change this thing that we can very easily see inside of our browser when we run this application, I'm going to open up the app.js file. And inside of here, I'm going to find the render method. Inside there, we have an h1 right here. I think that a very easy to detect change that we can make would be to alter the title that appears on the page. So rather than simply saying fib calculator, I'm going to put on fib calculator version 2, like so. So that's just going to be a very simple change that will appear inside of our browser, and it'll make it very obvious when we are using a newer version of this particular image. All right, so I'm going to save this file, and then we're going to close that code editor, and we'll then rebuild our image and push it back up to Docker Hub. So back at my command line, I'm going to make sure that I'm still inside of that client directory. We'll do a Docker build, and we'll be sure to tag this thing with your Docker ID / multi-client, like so. And then I'll specify my build context with a dot at the very end. Don't forget the dot. Okay, so I'm going to run that. It's going to rebuild the entire image. Now, remember, we have to rerun the build portion of that script because we made a change to our source code. After all that, we finally get our new image created. So now the last thing we have to do is push this new image up to Docker Hub. So I'll do a docker push my Docker ID / multi-client, like so. Okay, so it's going to push that set of changes up. And there we go, that's pretty much it. So now Docker Hub has the latest version of our multi-client image. And now it's just up to us to figure out how we can somehow get our deployment to make use of that newer image for all the pods that it manages. So let's take a quick pause right here. We'll come back to the next section, and we're going to figure out how we can somehow get our deployment to update all of the pods that it manages.